So hey guys, Apple has announced the WWDC 2020 on the online platform only, showcasing their iOS 14 and macOS Big Sur with the new features and all. But the showstopper for the day was the transition of MacBook from Intel processor to Apple ARM-based processor. So without wasting your time, let's get started. A lot of things were announced, but the majority of the iOS 14 things were already found in the Android platform from past few years, and I don't blame Apple for doing so because everybody wants the best of both the worlds, right? And a quick overhaul was done for the macOS side of things. Even though everybody is interested in the new iOS features update, but I am interested in the Apple's ARM-based processor MacBooks. From quite a while from now, many companies were eager to replace the x86 processor with ARM-based processor. For beginners, ARM is the architecture used in the mobile processor like Apple A13, Snapdragon, and so on. And x86 is the architecture used in desktop processor like 32-bit, 64-bit, and 86-bit processor like Intel i3, i5, and Ryzen, etc. From past few decades, x86, that is the desktop processor, and the ARM-based processor, that is the smartphone processor, have been two different worlds. And this is not the first time that Apple faced this problem. 10 years ago, Apple faced the same problem while switching the Mac OS from PowerPC to Intel. Apple had a plan while doing so. They introduced Rosetta, a software which basically converts ARM-based applications to Intel-based applications. Coming to now, Apple has used the same Rosetta software but an upgraded version of it, the Rosetta 2, which automatically translates the native Mac apps to Apple's ARM-based processor. And for the sake of the developers, Universal was announced, which helps in developers to build an application on both Intel and ARM base at the same time. And for the apps which are not yet converted, they have showcased the turnaround way by using the virtualization software. They showcased using Maya rendering software. The real-time demo was running fluently even when the shaders and textures were added. The new macOS supports all the apps which are natively built for smartphones, and for this transition to happen seamlessly, Apple has updated their macOS to Big Sur to match with the themes of iOS 14 and maintain a clean transition over the board. And the apps which are on iOS smartphones are now natively supported on the new macOS. Even though every Apple device is best in the computational task, as we take a look at all the smartphone processor, they lived up to their expectations. While using the new Mac, you can expect more computational performance, but you can't expect more graphical performance as it expected from Intel's and Mac powered PCs. This is because Apple is using a SoC, system on a chip, where almost all the components including the GPU is present on the same chip itself. So looking at the previous history of ARM processor, this processor might perform average when it comes to graphical intensive tasks. So at the end, Apple wants the user to have a frictionless, seamless transition between iOS, macOS, and watchOS. Whenever Apple does anything, others try to copy that. So in terms, it pushes the other smartphone manufacturers and laptop manufacturers to collab, and who knows, you can also find a company that may compete with Apple. So let's finish this video. I'll meet in another video. Until then, stay safe.